Today we're going to be talking about the best high school quarterback drills. Now this first drill we're going to be going over today is strictly for your throwing mechanics and your throwing sequence. Now I call this a single leg stabilizer drill. So I'm going to talk about the throwing sequence as a whole, which is going to build into every single drill that we're going to go over today. So as a quarterback, to be able to generate power and throw velocity, throw distance, you need something called torque. Torque comes from something called upper body and lower body dissociation. Very similar to how a baseball player would hit a baseball in the batter's box. So for example, I'm in the batter's box, pitcher's throwing to me. Where do I want to be? Do I want my weight to be forward? No, I want my weight to be back. I want to be at a position called being stacked. And that's where you want to try to get to as a quarterback as well. You want your head, your knee, and your foot stacked on top of each other in this batter's box. So when the pitcher throws you a pitch and you step to the pitcher, you have some weight behind your front step. Some guys like to step in place. Obviously, it's a little bit different from a quarterback perspective, but it's the same idea. You know what I'm trying to say. So you step to the pitcher, but you keep your weight back, you keep the bat back, so when you squish that back bug and your hips fire through, the hips will have this chain reaction bringing the bat through, and that's how that ball jumps off of your bat. Same idea as a quarterback. You look at all the top passers. You look at the guys like Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady when he played, Patrick Mahomes. When they take a stride to the target, their weight does not shoot forward on the stride. They separate their upper body from their lower body. So when they step, they keep their weight back. Their shoulders rotate back, they take the football back, and that shoulder rotating, hand separating is upper body and lower body dissociation. So now, when you transfer your weight through, the hips fire through before the shoulders, that hip is coming through before the ball, before my shoulder, that's the spot that you want to get to. You want the football chasing your hip, and that's what creates whip on the throw and more velocity on the throw. So that entire throwing sequence is what these drills are going to be focusing on today. So this first drill is an easy warm-up drill. You guys want to do 2 sets of 10 reps on this drill, and I call this a single leg stabilizer. So you're going to balance on your throwing side leg, and you're going to get down into kind of like a 1/4 squat in a sense. The goal is to not have my knee cave on this, but you're going to be in this 1/4 squat, arms are going to be across your body, and all you're going to do is you're going to rotate and turn your left shoulder even with your right knee. You're going to want to cave. We don't want to cave. We want to try to keep my knee completely straight. You're going to rotate, then you're going to come back, and you're trying to keep your eyes forward. Rotate, and then come back. You should feel this down the side of your leg, or side of your ankle, I should say, side of your leg, because that's working on the stability and the strength that I need to keep my weight back on the stride. You're essentially getting to the exact same position. So I'm going to show you how this drill should look full speed. Again, you want to do about 2 sets of 10 to 12 reps of this drill. Now this next drill, guys, you need about a 10-yard space. You could set up 2 cones right here about 10 yards apart, and this drill is going to be called our straight jacket drill. So the reason why we call it a straight jacket drill is your arms are going to be crossed and tight to your rib cage like so, like one of those straight jackets that they'll put crazy people in so they can't move their hands. That's what you want to do with your upper body. So now we're working on ultimately our throwing sequence like we mentioned. Remember, in my throwing sequence, when I stride to the target, where do I want my weight to stay? I want my weight to stay back. I want my shoulders to rotate back so my hips can fire through, and the hips bring the shoulders and the ball through, and that's what this drill works on. It works on the hips, bringing the upper half through and the ball through. So you're going to start out, you're going to be, remember, in that stacked base position. Head, knee, and foot are stacked, arms are crossed. The rhythm of this drill is going to be left, right, left. And the second step with your left foot is going to be the step leg, like you're stepping to the target. As you step, my back leg should not move. I don't want my knee to cave. I don't want to go left, right, left and have my knee start to cave because that puts my weight forward. I want to stride to the target, and I want to pretend like there's a flashlight on my knee, and that flashlight is staying pointed towards the sideline because that will help me rotate my shoulders and stay behind that stride. Then we want to drag my back foot through and have my hips bring my upper body through. Then you're going to reset. Left, right, left, and the hips are bringing the upper body through. These last 2 drills, guys, are some of the best drills that you could do that don't put pressure on your arm, and you could still work on your throwing mechanics and your throwing sequence. So guys, I'm going to show you how this should look full speed. You want to go about 4 sets of 10 yards on this drill. Now, if you're a quarterback and you want to improve your skills this off-season, check out that very first link in the description below for our ultimate quarterback off-season training package. What you'll get access to is an 8-week daily on-field workout schedule. Monday you're doing this, Tuesday you're doing this, listing out different throwing drills, mechanical drills with the exact sets and reps to follow, and we give you a video example of each drill so you're not confused. We also include in our training package an 8-week gym routine. Quarterbacks have to train differently than other football players and other athletes in the gym because we're very rotational. It takes pressure off my arm. We have to be exercising the right elements of my body to transfer to our throwing sequence. So we include an 8-week gym plan, an 8-week field plan, and we also include a 50-minute long video where I break down how quarterbacks can read defensive coverages. We talk about every coverage, weaknesses, and the best plays to go against it. So guys, if you're a quarterback and want to improve your skills this offseason, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this example of this drill. Now this next drill for high school quarterbacks is again going to be working on your throwing sequence. So guys, when we take a step, I call this drill a no stride drill because we are taking away the element of that step to my target to work on quarterbacks staying back. One of the common mistakes that quarterbacks will make when they throw is they'll get to that base, right? They'll hear me say it, get stacked 65, 70% of your weight on your back leg, but when that front foot gets down, they will push all of their body weight forward, and that flashlight, like we talked about in the last drill, will start to turn. So when your weight's forward, you physically can't separate your shoulders. So what ends up happening is that you over-rotate, your shoulders come through, ball comes through, elbow comes through before your hip, you're coming across, we're maybe pulling down and leaning, and that makes my throw very inconsistent. Yeah, I might get some power, but my release point is going to be wild and my throws are going to be sporadic. Remember guys, when I take a step to the target, the step is separate from the back leg drive and weight transfer. You want to transfer your weight after the foot gets down. The stride and the drive are separate events. I want to step, I want to stay back, then drive through. So that's what this drill works on. So you're going to be here in a base, you're going to be in this stack position, you need a target maybe about 10 to 12 yards out in front of you. You're going to have your front foot open to the target. You could be directly open. I recommend having a slight close of it. So if you're a right-handed quarterback, step slightly to the right of your target. Weight's going to be back and we're going to be nice and relaxed through. You're going to rotate your front shoulder and separate your hands like a normal throw, but that flashlight is staying pointed at the sideline when you get to this point. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have my hips fire through, come through before my shoulders and the ball, and then we're just going to throw this thing playing catch with our partner. I have the quarterbacks that I train do about 20 to 25 reps of this specific drill before every single throwing workout. So again guys, no stride drill. Front foot's here, nice and relaxed. We rotate and separate, and then the hips bring me on through. I'm going to show you how this thing should look full speed. Now this next set of drills for high school quarterbacks is going to be our towel footwork or towel pocket footwork circuit. So we're going to be working on this towel to take pressure off of my arm. The great part about doing towel reps as a quarterback is it doesn't put a ton of mileage on your arm. You only have a certain number of throws, even with great mechanics, to where your arm can start getting tired. So doing reps with the towel where you're focused on your feet, your throwing sequence can be highly beneficial. Now the reason why we use the towel is it helps us work on our wrist flick and extension point. For accuracy on our throws, we never want a short arm. We never want my wrist to kind of flick, but my elbow and my shoulder kind of stay back. I want my wrist, my elbow, and my shoulder to be completely extended out towards the target. That's how I get more consistent with my release. So when you're holding this towel, you don't want to grab it like a fist. You want to put your middle finger over the top of the towel, make this towel as thin as possible, and hold it almost like this. But middle finger is the only finger on top of the towel. So when you extend properly, you're going to hear a whoosh, a whip of the towel. When you don't extend, you're not going to hear anything. So it forces us to have to extend. So we're going to be working 3 specific type of footwork movements that every single quarterback at the high school level will experience. So first one is going to be C gap pressure and then A gap pressure. So you're going to start out, you're going to climb up 1, A gap pressure, drift back, and then throw. And you're going to do 8 reps of that movement. Second one you're going to do, and I'm going to show you all these should look full speed. Second one we're going to do is B gap pressure, or I would say probably A gap pressure. So you're getting A gap pressure, drift back, C gap pressure, step up, and then throw. And then what we're going to work is C gap pressure from the right, step up, A gap pressure from the right, step forward, and throw. So you're doing all 3 of those pocket movements with this towel, 8 reps per movement. I'm going to show you how this should look full speed. Now this next drill for high school quarterbacks is going to work on throwing on the run. So whenever we're throwing on the run, let's say I'm escaping out to the right, the throwing sequence is pretty much the exact same. It's just you take a different step, right? So when we're throwing from the pocket, you step with your left foot towards the target, you keep your weight back, you rotate your shoulders, and you're separating your upper half from your lower half. On the run, you do the exact same thing, but instead of stepping with your left foot, you step with your throwing side foot. So if you're a right-handed quarterback, that would be your right foot. So I'm rolling out, I step with my right foot at the target. Wherever I want this ball to go, I have to point my toe towards, because that gets my hips in that direction. And as I step, I rotate my shoulders back. So now when I rotate and separate my hands, my shoulders are separate from my lower body, and when I kick through with this leg, that will snap that ball through with torque, velocity, and consistency, because my hips are going towards the target. So this single leg throwing on the run drill can help with that. So you need a target about 10 to 12 yards away. You're going to start out balancing on your throwing side foot with your non-throwing side foot tucked at a 90-degree angle. You are just going to rotate, and as soon as you get your left shoulder even with your right knee, you are going to separate your hands and then kick through with the left foot as you release the ball. You want to release this ball before your left foot hits the ground. A lot of quarterbacks will do this, and they'll rotate back and they'll step with the left foot and throw. Release it before your left foot hits the ground, or try not to have your left foot hit the ground at all in this movement. So guys, about 10 to 12 reps of this throw before a throwing workout. I'm gonna show you how this should look full speed. Now this off-season, fellas, if you're a quarterback and you would like to train with us, we are coming out to 15 states across the U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. If you guys would like to train with myself and my staff, we're coming again to 15 cities across the U.S. If you want to find out what cities we're coming to, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out to one of our off-season camps. Again, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now this next drill for high school quarterbacks is going to work on our pocket presence, our pocket movement, and also our escapability in hitting a throw on the run. So you're going to need a partner about, I would say, 10 to 15 yards away who's lined up directly in front of you. Now your partner is either going to take off on a jog to the left or take off on a jog to the right, and you're going to escape and roll out with him in the direction he runs. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out here at the top of this like cone gauntlet. We have 6 cones and then a starting point cone here. It's not really necessarily necessary, but it kind of keeps you in line, especially if you're not doing this on a turf field or a field with lines. So what you're gonna do, set go, you're gonna take a 3-step drop, and then you're just gonna work through these cones in almost a snake pattern. So you're gonna shuffle up over here, shuffle up, staying in a throwing position, shuffle up, then you're gonna come back around these cones, shuffle. Now let's say your partner takes off and runs to the left. You're gonna reverse out, roll out with him, hit him on the run. He goes the opposite way. You're gonna do the exact same thing, but we don't have to reverse out. We roll out and hit him on the run. So you want to do about 6 reps of this drill. I'm going to show you how this thing should look full speed.